Chapter 5, Part 1. Om Sai Ram. On that day, a Mala Jangam came there. There were many books of palm leaves with him. He became a venerable person to all the residents of that locality within a short time. He was telling past, present, and future events to all those who met him. He was telling that all those palm leaf books were Nadi Granthas, and it was called Science of Ramala, and all the predictions from those books would take place exactly as foretold. He came to the house of Subaya's parents on their request. He gave some seashells to me and asked me to cast the shells on the ground. He made some calculations and took a leaf from the palm leaf books and read out as, "The questioner is a Kannada Brahmin by name Shankar Bhatt. He will write the life story of Sripada Srivallabha. In his previous birth, he and another person were born in Mogalicharla village situated near Kandukuru town. Both of them became very much interested in gambling. There is a famous self-manifested Datta temple in that village. He was born as a brother of that temple's priest. In the absence of his brother, he was conducting temple worship and other rituals. He was indulging in gambling with his friend in the temple premises. That is a highly objectionable matter. One day, he played the gambling game with his friend under peculiar stipulations. If his friend were to win, this man had to give him the amount of money stipulated. If this person were to win, the friend had to hand over his wife to this gentleman. Lord Datta was the witness to this deal. They solemnly swore to that effect and gambled. Lord Datta was observing that this highly reprehensible act was taking place in his very presence. Shankar Bhatt won in the gamble. The friend refused to hand over his wife to Shankar Bhatt. The dispute was referred to the elders. The elders of the caste assembled. They resolved that it was an unpardonable offense that such a misdeed took place in the very sacred presence of Lord Datta. They also resolved that hot boiled oil should be poured on the head of Shankar Bhatt, who was enamored with the wife of another person and who wanted to enjoy her in a crooked way. They further resolved that the genitals of the friend who stalked his wife should be slashed to render him impotent, and that both of them should be expelled from the village after execution of the decree. The resolution was duly executed. As Shankar Bhatt performed service to Datta for a short while, he was born in this birth as a person with some devotion to God. His friend took birth in a Baba's house in the holy town of Tirupati with the name of Subaya. With mental instability, he became mad and ran away after the marriage. The wife of Subaya is innocent. As no offense was committed by her, the lunacy of Subaya decreases on account of the efficacy of her matrimonial fidelity, and Subaya returns to this place on the next day after this Science of Ramala is heard. Shankar would get released on that day. On account of the grace of Sripada Srivallabha, the 7.5-year duration of harassment to Shankar Bhatt due to Saturn would elapse in 7.5 days by making him suffer such above mentioned troubles. Those who swear in the name of God and make false and unrighteous declarations are severely punished by Lord Datta. For the cure of the mental instability of Subaya, some portion of the merit of Shankar Bhat was transferred to the credit of Subaya by Chitragupt. People should understand the fact that the influence of karma works in most subtle way. Therefore, they should perform good deeds and refrain from doing any bad deeds. The horoscope of Sripada Srivallabha will come to Pithikapuram through Akshay Kumar, a follower of the Jain religion residing in the Tripura province a few centuries after his incarnation ends. Before that, a book with the title Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham describing the divine sportive plays of Sripada will come to the light. How can I describe the mercy of Sri Vallabha? The next day, Subaya came to his house. His lunacy was completely cured. I treated Subaya's wife as my sister. I then took leave from the parents of Subaya and reached Kanipakam village in the Chittoor region. The village Kanipakam was a short distance from Chittoor. The temples of Sri Varadraj Swami, Sri Manikanteshwara Swami and Sri Varasiddhi Vinayaka are in that village. I had darshan of Varasiddhi Vinayaka and came out of the temple. There was a tall dog standing there. I was afraid and went back into the temple of Varasiddhi Vinayaka. I meditated on God for some time and came out. There was one more dog of the same size along with that first dog. I feared that I would surely be bitten by those dogs. I again entered the temple of Varasiddhi Vinayaka. The temple priest found by my behavior and asked me, "Sir, you are repeatedly going out and coming into the temple. What's the reason?" I told him about my fear. Then the priest said, "They won't harm anyone unnecessarily. Those dogs belong to a washerman. This washerman is a devotee of Lord Datta. The washerman declares that Sri Datta was incarnated with the name of Sripada Srivallabha. Even though there is no restriction for the entry of the washerman into the temple, he does not step into the temple. He sends his dogs. I pack Swami's prasad into a bundle and hand it over to the dogs. They carry the bundle and go over to their master. You said you saw 2 dogs. I will give the prasadam only when all the 4 dogs come together. Let us see whether the other 2 dogs arrived or not." When we came out there, we saw there were 4 dogs. The 4 dogs surrounded me from all the 4 directions. The priest said, "You go to that washerman as per the wish of those dogs. It augurs well for you." I realized that the events in my life were taking place according to the direction of Sripada Srivallabha. I felt that the incidents at the house of Subaya one should not mind too much for the distinctions of caste and religion. A pariah may be born as a Brahmin in the next birth, and a Brahmin may take birth as a pariah in his next birth. I learned that a living being amases the virtues and sins earned by him, and with that bundled load he wades through the stream of fate through successive births. Om Sai Ram.